Drivin Ivan here, and it's the Ford that you've absolutely never heard of. Not really a Ford, it's a kit car based on a Ford, and I've freshly imported it from England. Super rare in America. It's my Ginetta G26. I'll tell you all about the car. I'll tell you all about the company Ginetta, and I'll drive it and tell you if I'm impressed with my fresh new import from England, the Ginetta G26. So smash that like button and subscribe. Let's get started. Well, starting with the shape, it's got that wonderful wedge design based on cars like the Lotus Elite, Lotus Eclat, and also the TVRs from the day. This car came out in 1984. This particular one is in 1987. So yes, it's got the pop-up headlights and the very cool wedge shape. There were a few different variants of this particular model. Some had a shorter wheelbase, some did not have the pop-up headlights, but yeah, totally 80s, totally Radwood, and I love the shape, you know? And you certainly aren't going to see another one here in America. That was one of the huge draws for me. But definitely sporty, and definitely has that 80s look too, which I totally love. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. It's got the hood scoops, and it's got the ventilation, and of course those wonderful pop-up headlights. Pretty cool, huh? Say hello, Ginetta. Hello. It's the classic hatchback shape. Ginetta G26 there, and electronic fuel injection too. Not all of these had that fuel injection. Some of them were carbureted cars, so that's pretty cool. There's the Ginetta badge and a cool little wing at the back too. So there you go. The exterior and wedge shape of this one truly make it unique. You're probably never going to have to see another one in America. I love that. And the wedge shape certainly dates it, but it's a car that to my eye looks like not too many other things on the road, and so to me that makes it cool. I like the pinstripes on the side too. I think they did a nice job with the styling, and yeah, they styled them in-house, and they built the chassis in-house too, the whole kit basically. But again, more on that later. Yes, I love the styling. I am definitely impressed with the styling. All right, on to the interior. I do this all the time when I'm driving a right-hand drive car. I open it from the wrong side a couple times. But yes, right-hand drive, that's the only way this one was made. Super sporty, Recaro seats. These extend, that's pretty cool. And yeah, it's, I guess they call it Alcantara these days. You got your cassette holder. Yeah, a real handbrake, power windows, 5-speed manual with reverse. In the doors, you have this fancy pattern here. There's your grab handle, storage below. That's how you control your outside mirrors manually. Steering wheel, pretty basic, pretty cool. Horn button in the middle. Lights on the side here. That's how you open and close your headlights. And then you have a storage compartment right here. That's interesting. The basic sporty gauges of the period. Check it out. Large tachometer, fuel level, temperature, idiot lights here, and your 150 mile per hour speedometer. That's a little optimistic. Top speed is actually 120 miles per hour. Not sure what's going on here. It's certainly not an airbag, but you do get a full glove box down below. So there you go. Typical 80s interior, very sporty, driver focused, and with these great Recaro seats, should be excellent for your back road twisties. Trunk is pretty large for back in the day. Has all of your basic accoutrement for European driving. Side of the road light, and also your spare tools and jack, that sort of thing. Powering the Ginetta G26 is a single overhead cam 2-liter Ford based, basically Ford Sierra or Cortina, 2-liter engine, and it's rated at 105 horsepower, 115 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in 9.4 seconds, and it only weighs 2,249 pounds. You can expect 34 miles per gallon overall. That's pretty darn good, right? And so it is light, and it's made it to a 5-speed transmission, which powers the rear wheels. I think with the fuel injection, and I've told that it's got some souped up parts as well, it's probably a little better than the numbers I quoted. Now let's see what it's like to drive. So the history of Ginetta: in 1958, the Wachlet brothers started the Ginetta company, and they built the G1, which was basically a kit back in the day. So they've been building these kits all along. They basically ran the company from 1958 until 1989, when they decided to retire and sell it on. So they moved a couple times around England, but they've basically kept building these kit cars, mostly kit cars. They built a couple cars in the factory. Most of them were kits. They wanted to build innovative and creative, great value sports cars. So that's what they have been doing all these many years. And this Ginetta G26, well, they sold well under 300, about 284 examples basically. So this one is not very common to see even in England. They do have Ginetta car reunions, and the owners are very proud and really enjoy these cars, and for good reason. Each brother really brought something to the table, and basically all the brothers pulled together their specialties and built these great kit cars, which are pretty much a boutique manufacturer in England, I think. But lately, well, they're starting to build some really exciting cars. The Ginettas that I've seen in the past, I mean, it's really cool. You see them doing battle at Goodwood, and they built so many models, starting with the G1, the G2, 3, and 4. Then you had the G10, 11, and 12, the G19, 20, and 21. And then with this series here, the G26, G28, G30, and G31 as well. And then moving into the modern era, in 2005, Ginetta was acquired by Lawrence Tomlinson, and he went ahead and built the G50 for the 50th anniversary. There's the G55 and the G60 as well. So they're continuing to build these special cars even today. Absolutely amazing. This Ginetta G26 is quite an interesting car. The chassis was built basically so that you could just use one donor car, and you could put many different engines. Now, the later one, the G28, also had Ford running gear, but you could use the V6. Therefore, it couldn't have the pop-up headlights, unfortunately, for the shape, but that one was a little shorter. They built many different body styles over the years, and many were very racy. Some were pure sports cars, like this one, designed to really be able to handle everything. You know, you take your family in this, it could be your daily driver with that really reliable Ford running gear. So that's a really cool thing. Basically, you have disc brakes up front, drums at the rear, independent suspension up front, and wishbones at the rear. So very sporty, but yet dependable, and pretty thrifty too. Comfort, luxury, and sport. The Ginetta G26 ticking all the boxes. But how's it handle? Sure, you know, off the line acceleration is not going to be all that impressive by today's standards. No, it certainly isn't. But you can get the tail out on this thing. You can have fun with it. It's very well balanced. And again, with that Ford power, you know, if something goes wrong, parts shouldn't be all that hard to come by, which is very cool. It is certainly fun to drive. There is no question about that. And you know, 105 horsepower, not a lot, but 115 pound-feet of torque, so it is pretty darn torquey. Well, the Throws are a bit long, but shifter still feels cool. And once you're used to shifting with your left hand, well, you can welcome the twisties, of course. And these cars really strike an interesting balance. These 80s sports cars. It's soft, so soft by today's standards, and there's body roll. But that's enjoyable, honestly. This is a rear-wheel drive sports car that's extraordinarily analog. And it's got power, too. It only weighs 2250. I mean, geez. So, it is a back road cruiser. Absolutely. Very pure and very fun to drive, too. This particular Ginetta G26 was advertised as being in pretty good mechanical condition, and hasn't let me down at all. Haven't had a chance to drive it oh so much, but I certainly have driven it a lot, and it starts right up, runs great, super fun to drive, and I think it would make a really, really good classic daily driver. Again, with that Ford running gear, the availability of spares, and really the ability to customize it as well, and the ability to use it as a car. I mean, 35 miles per gallon, almost 34. That's pretty amazing. And 5 seats and a big trunk. Well, what more could you want in your classic sports car that can be daily driven? Such an interesting car, and yeah, really fun to drive with, I think, the perfect balance of comfort and sport that they just don't do anymore. Cars are a lot more rigid, and well, they're just controlled by computers, and this one remains to be a car that you drive, and you can feel everything. You feel the road, feel the handling, still power steering, power door locks, and some creature comforts, but it's really just you in the car, and I like that. It's also pretty interesting to be driving a right-hand drive car. I just got back from, you know, England, where I bought this in Ireland. I rented 2 Renault Clios. If you want to see the classic Clio, search Drivin Ivan in that one. Got to drive that one too, the Clio Williams. But the Renault Clio, normally aspirated, and the Renault Clio hybrid. So those reviews will be coming up. This one should be out before those, because I'm anxious to show you guys this car. And I'm actually going to be selling this one on. So, you know, I will certainly miss it, but I have so many cars. The MGF that I drove on the Nürburgring, and also my Fiat Barchetta, and so many other cool cars. My Lancia Delta Integrale, Porsche 911 SC, Porsche 996 911. But this one is truly unique, and it is so cool to take to a car show, no matter what car show. Radwood especially, though, because you're never going to see another one of these. Totally cool, and totally unique. Pricing is, of course, reflected in the scarcity of these cars, and even in England, they're not easy to find. There are groups that really enjoy these Ginettas overseas. They have gatherings, and it's just so interesting that they're actually still in production. You can still get a Ginetta even in 2024. And sure, they've been through a few owners, and sure, they are a company that not many people really know about, especially here in America. So I'm really happy to be sharing this car with you guys, and I'm really excited about bringing it to the US. If you want to see how to import cars, search my videos out there on that, how to license a car in Europe and drive it, like I did my MGF, drove it on the Nürburgring. Check out those videos. Also me driving it on the Nürburgring, a couple laps there on YouTube. Really cool. I give you a interesting perspective on driving on the Nürburgring. But this one, after driving all around England and driving this a little bit in England, I didn't really get to drive it too much, but you got to drive a car before you buy it. And driving it here in the US, driving on the right-hand side is certainly something I'm pretty used to by now. but it's definitely interesting. A lot of you JDM people out there will appreciate it too. Certainly unique. People just look at you weird because you're driving on the right hand side. So yes, this Ginetta is absolutely impressive to me. I love the shape. I think it's a really fun car to drive. It's very sporty and really offers everything I look for in a sports car. I like to have something that no one else has at car shows. I like to have something that's fun to drive. Woohoo! It is fun to drive and feels quick too. Even though it might not be quick by the numbers, it certainly feels quick. So there you have it, the Ginetta G26. Super rare car here in America. If you're interested, send me a PM on Instagram. I have the same Instagram. I'll also have it on Facebook Marketplace. Look for it out there. And again, thank you so much for watching. Smash that like button, subscribe, search any car in Drivin Ivan, watch my guitar reviews, watch my documentaries, Banksy's Art in Bristol, and Jim Morrison's Life and Death in Paris. That's a good one. Jim Morrison's Life in Alexandria, Virginia. Even Warhol's Life in Pittsburgh. Check out my Free Your Mind music video, which has a lot of my car collection in it and a lot of my musical instrument collection too. Very cool video. My COVID project. Also my literal video for Chris Isaac's Wicked Game. Real Reality, Real Poker. Those documentaries. You'll enjoy watching those too. And again, search any car in Drivin Ivan. Thanks for watching. Here in my Ginetta G26, I am Drivin Ivan.